Hey, what's up, party people? This is comedian Ron G, and welcome to another episode of the Comedy Pop-Up Podcast. Well, we don't small talk, but we have great guests, and we have a lot of cool conversations about comedy and entertainment and a whole bunch of cool stuff. Now, today, we got a special guest. This is actually our first time having one guest in the studio, but we got a guest and a half. Can we do that?
Yeah.
We'll do a guest and a half like we playing spades. We're going to go a book and a half. So listen, man, in the studio, actually a really dope comic, man. I met him a long time ago. He's from D.C. After 6 months of doing comedy, he wound up getting his own headlining gig, and he has his own podcast called The Completely Unprofessional Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, show some love for Dante Chang. Hey, what up, Dante?
What's up, Ron? What's going on?
Bro, you are so freaking stylish, man.
Oh, appreciate that. You too, brother.
Man, I feel like I should just put you in like a H&M mannequin window. Like, just put you in the window for a second.
I'm the wrong shape, though. I'm the wrong shape.
It's all right. They do husky. I think they do a little husky sizes now, too.
I never seen a mannequin shape like that.
That's so stupid. But you're fresh, though. Got on all his favorite clothes, man. Is that a guest jacket?
Yeah, it's a custom guest jacket by Dr. Romanelli.
I don't even know who that is, but I like it. And shout out to Dr. Romanelli.
Shout out to Dr. Romanelli.
Is he a real doctor?
Nah, he just calls himself that. He designs clothes. He designs for Nike, Levi's.
Shut up.
Yeah.
The doctor?
Yeah, the doctor.
So with no
does work for LeBron.
credentials?
Huh?
With no credentials?
He does. He has credentials.
No, but he's not a real doctor. He didn't go to school to be a doctor.
No, he just calls himself because I guess he cuts and sews the clothes.
So he's like surgery on them clothes.
It's like several different jackets.
I see that.
He just
and that guest symbol is huge, but it's so freaking dope.
I appreciate
I'm a fan, man. And I like how none of your colors match, but they match. That's real fashion. No, I'm serious. Like, that's real fashion. Like, even for me, like, growing up in the South, we used to wear, like, all polo. Like, head to toe, all polo stuff, and that was fashion. But, like, in L.A., when you don't match, it's fashion. And for me, I had to learn it because, like, literally none of my stuff match, but it works. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, you match it like hell right now.
Well,
you got all black on. I understand that.
Well, I spend the night at my girl house. I just do some clothes on. But in general, like, normally I wear a bunch of stuff that don't match. I wear some yellow shoes, a red shirt, denim jacket, and denim pants.
I think that's still matching, though. Yellow and red look good together. It's kind of like, it still matches.
But I will say this. Asian people are some of the most fashionable people on the planet.
So,
I would not
and
lie.
black people. And black people.
We like doing
black
labels.
people, too.
But Asians, y'all get down.
But you know what? A lot of Asian people wear all black, though. You notice that? They just got the all black on. They don't, black people know how to mess with the colors.
Yeah,
a little bit more.
Black folk,
you know?
we just know how to
Mexicans, I'm sorry, y'all not that good.
Nah, we're not.
Nah, y'all throwing a Hawaiian shirt in a second. A Hawaiian shirt and some cargo shorts.
Almost wore it today.
Yeah?
I was like, this is style for tonight.
You dress like
But you're all right, though. You're all right. I'm talking about the jersey with the khakis and shit. Like, that just look weird.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
the
Like,
jersey be tucked in with the nylon sweats, too.
The camo joggers with the jean jacket.
with some Cortez on, Nike Cortez
You gotta
on.
have on a Raiders jersey.
And a Raiders hat.
A Raiders jersey and some
with a
khakis.
Clippers hat. With a Clippers jersey.
And some house shoes. Hilarious. Also, check it out. We got in the studio, man. My main man. I've had a chance to work with him so many times. Dope comic. Does a lot of really cool marketing, engineering stuff as well. Ladies and gentlemen, you've seen him at all the comedy pop-up shows, and he also heard him on Laugh Attack on Sirius XM. Ladies and gentlemen, show some love for Paul Antonio.
Yeah, I don't get a clap button. All right,
Okay,
there we go. There we go.
All right.
Paul Antonio.
Pretend like something.
Can you stop hating on yourself, man?
Hey,
I know,
you hating
right?
on
He's
yourself.
like, I don't
Nah.
really clap and then press the play button. That's dope, man. What's up, Paul? How you feeling today, man?
What up, man? Good, good. I mean, we get to work with each other on every comedy pop-up podcast. but
Absolutely.
I'm just the guy that misses the button. That's
Every time.
That's my job on this show.
Every time. But also, I'll say this too, man. It's dope to like watch your journey as well, man. Because like even when I remember when Dante first came on the comedy scene, swagged out Asian dude just showed up out of nowhere, looking like he owned the building. You know what I'm saying? Trying to figure these jokes out, and then you, Paul, like to hear you ask questions, like or tell me like the times you perform, man. Like, is it a really cool journey? Like, you feel like you learned a lot, man?
Yeah, definitely. Well, what's crazy is I started doing stand-up when I pretty much first got involved with comedy pop-up.
Yeah.
So, like, before that, I'd hit a couple of, like, mics before, but my comedy journey or whatever has been kind of, like, seeing everybody, like, you guys go up,
Yeah.
and then I go to the mic after the show and then try to, you know, do my own thing and stuff. So I learned from you guys. I definitely learned from you guys.
But the illusion is, too, watching really dope people, because dope people make it look easy. Like, when you see Denzel, you're like, man, I can act. That ain't nothing. But then when you actually try it, you're like, man, this is hard as heck.
Yeah,
And I always tell comics, too, like, the first stage of comedy that makes it hard is getting over yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, because we all talk, especially you grew up in the hood, like you talk to be cool, you always have control, be poised or whatever, and then you got to make sure your hair is cut and all this other stuff. But once you get over that, the second part is finding your voice, and that's a lifelong journey that changes the more you mature and who you are. What has been Dante, you can chime in anytime you want to. What has been like the toughest part or the hardest part about comedy for either one of you guys?
I think the hardest part definitely is sometimes I see so much comedy. I was always a comedy nerd before I got into comedy.
Yeah, I was too. I was a comedy whore.
Yeah, exactly.
Love comedy, man.
So sometimes I'll write jokes, but I'll write jokes like in other people's voice.
Yeah.
So then I try to fit it to my own voice, but sometimes I'm just like, I'll just, ditch it because it's like, I got to work with Ian Bagg for a long time, and
dope.
I love Ian. But it's like sometimes I would hear my jokes, I'd be like, that sounds a little bit too much like him. I want to focus on doing my own thing. So that's been a little tough.
But that's why I said finding your voice is the hardest part because you got to figure out who you are. I was probably Jamie Foxx for the first 2 years of comedy. Like I was literally Jamie Foxx, like mannerisms and everything. And I was like, and then later on I found me and I was like, oh, okay. But I admire him so much because like I like how he stayed in the character. Like he'll do a character and stay in it to where it's way past uncomfortable and still be in it. And I thought it was like dope to see somebody. I'm like, yo, and he's swagged out too. You can tell he get lazy. I'm like, oh, that's dope, man. So I had to figure that out. Like, what about you? Who was first of all, what was the hardest part about doing comedy? And second, who was the person you looked up to when you first started?
I think being original, just being different, being your own, kind of like finding your own voice, I guess, is almost saying it different. But just having original jokes that aren't like anybody else's.
Yeah.
I think that's hard because I think it gets to a point in time where you could really, if you really want to, you could make them laugh. If it's an audience that's in tune with the comedians, I feel like it could work.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think growing up, like my biggest influence was probably Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
Bobby Lee.
Of course, Bobby Lee.
Just them two. You know
Bobby
what I mean?
Lee's so reckless, man. What made you like? What did you like most about Bobby Lee?
He gets to the funny. He gets to the punchline super fast.
Yeah.
And he's really quick.
Yeah.
And he just it's like a kind of like a drunk. He's like almost like he's like a drunk silly Asian dude. You know what I mean? That's really funny.
Yeah.
And he understands the mechanics so well. He's been doing it so long.
Yeah, he's an artist too, man.
Yeah.
Like he's a pure artist too. And then I always think it's dope to see people that look like you. That's why I said Jamie Foxx was the guy who was like, yo, when I saw I Need Security, I was like, yo, like he's a cool guy and he does comedy. He wasn't like wearing suits.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like the old school cats, and like he just had swag about him. You could tell, you know what I'm saying? Like he had that mouthpiece where you can get chicks. I'm like, yo, I could do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that works. I mean, I like growing up, I looked up to, and this is weird because like super old school, but it's kind of different. First was Jonathan Winters. It was like 50s comic.
I remember him.
Like roast, but I just like how he would say something so ridiculous. Like, you ever get to like look into your fantasy of changing in front of a dog? But like he would just be so stoic. And to me, I've always been like that goofy dude that like I'll say a joke, but also be kind of like laughing along. But the people I look up to are the people who can say a joke and just kind of be like stone faced about it.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, that's what I aspire to be.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's dope. You ever do you remember your worst show?
So far, just did this spot the other day in Beverly Hills, which was maybe 8 people there.
Yeah.
And 4 of them didn't speak English. But it wasn't like 8 people, like an empty room. It was 8 people, but the venue was so small that it felt like a packed room.
Yeah.
8 people, 4 comics, packed room.
Yeah.
And man, I just started talking to the DJ for the longest time. So I did like 8 of my 10 minutes just riffing on whatever the DJ was saying and stuff. I just abandoned all my material.
That's funny.
I was like,
That's how you know it's getting bad. When you like, man, F this material. I'm gonna see what's going on in this room. How y'all doing today? Yeah. What about you, Dante?
I got 2 bad ones.
Yeah.
So I don't know which one's worse. So I had one. What's that room Michael Collier used to do?
The comedy. Oh, the townhouse.
I think so. It's on
Inglewood?
Crenshaw. Yeah, it's on Crenshaw Boulevard. I think.
Oh, that was the with the mirror tables where Richard Pryor used to go to.
I think so.
Yeah.
So
I need some more.
Anyways, it started off pretty good.
Yeah.
I would say like half
Maverick Flats.
Maverick Flats.
There you go.
That's it. Maverick Flats. It was going pretty well. It was going. All of a sudden, I did like a racist joke against black people that was pretty racist. It was the crowd was like 60-year-old black people probably.
Yeah, yes.
And then
that's not the good
they were
part.
on my side. They applause, breaks of love. I've never seen to this day an audience get so cold from being so hot. It was like, it was so bad. You know how you know it was bad? It went from applause breaks like me. You know when your jokes get extended and
Yeah. You gotta wait.
It went from that to it being so quiet. I could hear the cars passing outside. I was like, yo, this is a turn. They were on my side.
Now,
man.
was it like an intentionally racist thing or like a little tone deaf? Like you didn't know your audience?
I was like 6 to 8 months in.
So basically, you was tone deaf, like you didn't know.
Yeah, I didn't. I had no clue that
was
they were already on my side. Yeah, I just didn't. I mean, now I could, of course, read the room better. I would never do that again.
Yeah.
At that time, you're like, hey, these are my jokes. I'm gonna just give you my. You know how much material do you have? I think I was doing 15 minutes, eight like 6 months in, whatever. And I was like, yo, I gotta stretch this. I didn't even have 15 minutes. I'm literally just piecing it together.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, everyone still came up to me like, good job. No one seemed to have a problem with. People were still cool,
But black folks are very gracious to people that don't look like us.
yeah.
When people, especially you go to a comedy club and you see a white boy dance for like 2 seconds, they're like, the white boy can dance. You know what I'm saying? Asian dude, swagged out, what's up? You know what I'm saying?
They are like,
But we're hard with each other.
Yeah.
We're real hard on our
black
own
people are
people.
great to me, man.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't hear all I think,
But that old black crowd ain't nothing to play with. Like for me, one of my worst shows ever. This is kind of weird, but I did a show in a town outside of London. I had to catch a train to get there, and it was an all Indian Punjabi town. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, man.
And I started doing a joke about my relationship and my breakup, and this lady was like, "That's stupid. Why would you do that?" And walked out on me. And I was like, "What?" And I was like, because normally when I do this breakup joke, everybody, you know, has been through a breakup. You like, yo, and I know that's when I connect. And that was my first joke, right? And I didn't figure out until after I done my set, I was like, wait, this is a whole town of Indian people. They all had arranged marriages, so they don't do love for. You don't marry for love. You marry for business.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
absolutely.
So I'm talking about heartbreak. And they're like, why would you do that? Why would you get your heart broken? Like that's stupid.
Yeah,
and I didn't.
yeah.
I was tone deaf because I didn't understand the culture.
Yeah,
And it was like all Indian people too. And I'm like, I did a whole 40 minutes thinking on about freaking Suicide Watch and didn't know that they all had arranged marriages.
they don't even know about that.
Yeah, because I'm from the South, so
Yeah.
I don't know about, you know, Indian
I wouldn't
culture.
know either. I would have done the same
I didn't
thing.
know, but I didn't figure it out until after I did my set. I did with Nate Jackson. Nate Jackson killed because he was singing and a whole bunch of other stuff and
Yeah.
just doing, you know, I would say like jokes that they wasn't personal. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I was doing personal, my own experience stuff, and they was just looking at me like, you got your feelings hurt from a relationship? That's stupid.
Yeah.
That's so dumb. And I had no clue.
Oh man.
That was so terrible. And I didn't process until the end of my set, like, oh, y'all do arranged marriages. That's why y'all don't really date like
You better than me. I would have still been confused. Like I still don't know.
Yo, it messed me up because I'm like,
that show.
because I was on a tour and I got standing ovation almost every set I did. And then that one, like, it took me out. And I was like, this is stupid.
And that's how comedy works too, man.
Yep.
You're like being an NBA player, score 30, 30, 30, all of a sudden, one.
But 2 rebounds.
2 rebounds.
Man, after that Beverly Hills set, like that's how I felt. I was like, oh man, like I gotta.
Like, what am I doing with my life?
I should sit down and my jokes aren't good enough. And then that Monday is when I did the haha, and then that room was on fire.
Yeah, it was on fire.
I was like, that was amazing.
It's all.
But that's what I love about comedy, man. Like, you learn a lot about yourself. And for me, I always tell young comics, man, it's dope to perform for your people, but when you start performing for people that don't look like you and you make them laugh, you onto something. Because you don't really know how well your jokes work until you leave LA anyway.
Yeah.
Because LA is such a jaded, twisted-minded place, and you can do I've heard some of the darkest jokes ever done, abortion jokes, all rape jokes, and then them same headliners that are headliners in LA, when they go to like middle America, they don't do well. They trash because it doesn't translate.
I've done that. I've like this whole set about just abortion, rape, suicide. Just this, it's all just dark. The whole set is dark. I tried this shit in DC, right? And then I was like, for some reason, it just bombed like 4 nights.
You
ago.
mean for some reason? Like,
You know,
exactly what you're talking about.
And then Tony Woods, you know Tony Woods, right?
Yeah, I know Tony
Woods. I was talking to him. I was like, I'm really just talking about how frustrated I was because it worked. This has worked in Chicago, LA, whatever, different places. Here, just so it's such a political city, it just kept working. He was like, well, you know, this city is very narrow, and how you could go. And but have you ever think to yourself, maybe that shit ain't that funny? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like,
shout out to Tony Woods, man. Tony Woods is a freaking comedy genius / legend, man. I feel like he's never gotten the credit he deserves, but he's a freaking awesome.
And he don't,
dope
man.
writer.
There's a lot that don't, you know.
It's so funny. If you see him perform, you see a little bit of Dave Chappelle. You see a little bit of,
I think he inspired Dave a lot.
I can tell, but I'm saying like it's funny. You can see people's heroes. You're like, wow, delivery and everything. But it's pretty dope, man. Even though Dave Chappelle's the GOAT, but when you see Tony, you're like, whoa.
It's kind of like they say Michael Jordan got a lot from David Thompson.
I don't even know who David Thompson is.
That's
School
crazy.
teacher, or something.
David Thompson was like a player for the Denver Nuggets before Jordan. He was that super athletic guy that was kind of like that. Jordan is just a better defined version of him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like of what he was, kind of.
Yeah.
In a sense, Jordan was a little bit of him and Dr. J mixed a little bit.
Yeah.
I think, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But it's sad you don't know who he is. And sometimes if you come at the wrong time, because who knows if that guy.
Timing is everything.
It's everything.
Timing is everything.
We don't know who that guy is, but if you say he was around in the 2000s or 90s where the game was more about guards, you might have had a different career.
Right.
It's crazy.
We'll probably all have our feelings hurt. We found somebody that like talk like Eddie Murphy, like, whoa. Like, Eddie Murphy learned from this guy. He wanted to be James Robinson over here. Like, James Robinson? Who's James Robinson? Like, hey, look up James Robinson on YouTube. You can be like, whoa, that's who Eddie Murphy got his swag from.
Everybody got that mentorship, man.
That's so cool, man. Also, Dante, I know you real big into fashion, man. Has always been a part of it because I feel like one thing I learned is comedians can't dress. I feel like girls always tell me like, you dress pretty nice for a comedian. I'm like, because I love fashion.
You do though.
Thank you, bro. You too, man. You all swagged out. But how did you get into fashion?
I think
because that's one thing I noticed about you too. I'm like, yo, this dude got a lot of swag, man.
I think being around like a lot of black people, you know what I mean, and they just getting made like when you don't got the right shit on, you get made fun of.
Of course, you get to fix that.
Eventually, like there was a point in time where like I don't know, my mom was just cheap, so I literally wore the same thing every day.
Yeah.
For like the first year, first and second quarter of the school year, same outfit. Third and fourth, same outfit. So I would get roasted. You in your everyday shirt. It would just get bad. And I would just tell my mom, yo, I'm getting made fun of a whole lot. Can you do something about this? And then, that, and then worked in a clothing store when I was 16. Just always been around it, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And you're really dope at matching stuff. What you gonna say?
I was gonna say, I'm glad your mom decided to change that because my dad was cheap, but he stayed cheap. So like, I wore FUBU shoes for like 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
The same pair of raggedy $10 whatever indoor swap meet FUBU shoes on that.
Yeah.
I have no sense of style.
And sometimes I feel like being broke is the recipe for greatness too, man. Like for me, I didn't have a lot. So when I did buy stuff, I bought pieces that matter. Like for me, I like pieces. Like, you know what I'm saying? I buy a dope shirt and have like cut up jeans and like buy a pair of shoes that's like fresh and none of my stuff matched, but the way I put it together, because I didn't have a lot, like I know how to match clothes up even when you don't have a lot. When you don't have a lot, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I said.
You do fine though, man.
Now I'm good. I actually like fashion. I buy what I like. Like I like those, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I don't spend a lot of money on clothes. I do not spend. I always know where to get deals
It's
from.
bad for me, man. It's really bad.
It's a thing.
Man.
It's a habit.
I have stuff that I don't wear. I buy, and then the cool thing is like a lot of stuff I buy, it goes up in value, and I just resell it for way more. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I buy
What
stuff.
size shoe do you wear?
9.
Oh man, juice. All right. All right.
And whoever's
I
been
know.
a size 9 around me for years, whoever's around me is blessed.
Yeah.
Just because like I have like 500 pairs of shoes.
I can see that.
I'm like yo, I need to just give these away.
I need some foams, man.
What size you
I always
wear?
wanted a pair. I wear 11. I always wanted some foams, man. But you actually have a store on Melrose, right?
Yep, store on Melrose and Cursons across the street.
What is it
across
called?
from Urban Outfitters. It's called Flashback.
Flashback? Yo, let me tell you something. So if you live in LA, make sure you go to Flashback, man. Walking in that store is like my entire childhood on a coat rack. Like everything. I saw an Ultimate Warrior jacket. I saw what was it? The Bulls Dream Team. Well, the Bulls when they had like freaking Pippen,
Oh yeah,
Hodges.
I think it's probably a championship shirt. From the
Yeah,
90s.
like everything from my childhood is in that store, man. That's so cool. What made you come up with an idea like that?
This what happened, man. My boy had a store on my friend of mine had a store on La Brea, and he was like, "Hey man," I was like, "Hey man, won't you buy this? Won't you buy this?" I just give him suggestions, and then he would start buying it, and then eventually he was like, "Hey man, why don't you rent the space out? Because everything you tell me to buy sells." And then I did, and then eventually just kind of put him out of business, and because my shit was doing so well.
Are you serious?
Damn.
Yeah,
That's so crazy.
yeah. I ended up taking the whole thing over, but I moved to Melrose because the rent was like a third.
On Melrose?
Yeah.
Then La Brea?
Yeah.
How?
You wouldn't think that, but it is. You know what it is? If you think Brea's more spaced out, so
Yeah.
you could see like a
Yeah,
store
yeah.
more clear. Melrose, there's a shop.
It all runs together.
It's so many that
Yeah.
you know what I mean. It makes sense, but it's also better foot traffic.
yeah, of course.
But it's weird. Brea customers have a little more money. It's only a mile away, but it makes a
It's
difference.
right around the
though.
corner. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
it makes a difference though. It's weird.
But Melrose is all like kids and visitors.
A lot of kids, a lot of tourists.
Yeah.
Like during the summertime, it's crazy.
Yeah, and
man.
visitors. Yeah.
Yeah. We got All-Star Weekend coming up soon. That shit's gonna
It's
be
gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
Because you got to say, like, LA is dope because all the stuff you see in movies and TV, when you visit, you got to go see it.
Yeah.
People like, man, take me to Compton, man. I'm like, I'm not going to
No,
Compton.
no.
It's like, yo, you got to take. I mean, I heard it. Is it just like Boys in the Hood? You like, Yeah, it is, but I'm not taking you, okay?
The worst one I heard was when my man, he was like, yo, we got to go to Rancho Cucamonga. It was the next Friday.
Ah!
You have no idea. You're going to be mad.
Rancho Choker, nigga.
I didn't talk about it. Like, let me ask you something. When you think about that movie, what about it makes you want to go there? There's nothing about it.
The name.
There's nothing
like
there.
The fact that people don't live here think they can touch the Hollywood sign. Like, you can't touch the sign. They're like, I got to go touch the Hollywood sign. I'm like, you're not going to get that close.
You can't touch the Hollywood sign. Like, yeah, I know. But you know what? How can you think, if we didn't live there, we might think similar thoughts.
Absolutely.
So...
But LA is magical to people that don't live here.
Oh yeah, and then everybody thinks everything's right next to each other.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, you go to Disneyland, the next day you go to Universal Studios. It's like, that's quite a drive.
People be like, I'm in town. And I'm like, yo, where you staying at? Oh, I'm staying in the Valley. I'm like, I live by the airport. He's like, come scoop me up. I'm like, it's probably not going to happen.
I had it worse. Like, I'm staying in Long Beach or like just far up. It's somewhere weird, like Pacoima or whatever. Just weird. Like, yo, I don't even know where that is. Why you staying that far? The worst is, I'm just staying here by Disneyland. Like, yo, I live in the Valley. That's
I'm in LA. Like, no, that's Disneyland. It's not the same thing.
Because you know what it is? Most places, everything's relatively close.
Yeah, you stay downtown, you good to go.
Yeah.
LA, you stay downtown, you're near nothing.
I say, you guys visit LA, just stay in Hollywood. That's a very neutral place.
Yeah.
Where, most people can
or
get to.
West Hollywood, depending on, West Hollywood ain't a bad spot too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, unless you're homophobic, then maybe
there you go. Yeah, if you
Hollywood.
scared of them boys, you might not want to stay over there. But as far as visiting, weekend, you'll be all right.
You know what's funny? My boy when he moved to LA, he just you know how some people just pick a place.
Yeah,
he picked to live on Santa Monica Boulevard, right? He didn't know, and then literally for the first
which part?
No, that part.
La Brea part?
No. The part where like
the La Brea part, you see a girl
kind of like
with
by Highland, a little block over from Highland.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
This is back in the day when there was nothing but gay hookers outside. And you know what I mean? And transsexual hookers just all outside.
Like that lady got on the Super Bowl ring. Like, yeah, that's the side of town you on.
I was like, yo, I was like, we be outside of his porch, like they just all roaming around, like, yo,
tall?
I was like, yo, did you know this is like this? Nothing wrong with doing whatever they doing, but this is uncomfortable for me, man. You know what I mean?
Yep.
If I leave his house at like 2 a.m. and I get stopped at the first red light, they approach my car like, hey.
Yeah.
What's up?
Yeah.
Want to do something like?
Yeah, because where I'm from, prostitutes are very like low key. They just be walking like, why is she dressed up like this time of night? Yeah. But they would try to knock on your window. Like I went to that Walgreens. It's Walgreens on the corner of like Highland and Santa Monica. And I was leaving the comedy club and I went to get something. I saw this lady. I was like, yo, she's freaking tall. And I looked across the street. She was eating a donut. And she lifted her dress up and I saw her balls. I'm like, whoa. I was like, whoa. I jumped in the car and drove. I'm like, that was uncomfortable.
Damn.
I was like, yo, kind of assertive out here.
At least y'all could tell. Like, I'm from Pomona, right? So I'm like 30 miles east of LA.
Yeah.
And I went on a police ride along, right, for a class. So we're just driving around and he's like pointing stuff out and stuff. We stopped by this like little old grandma like on the side of the road. Like he just pulls over, gets out and talks to her and gets back in. I was like, oh, he must know her from the community. He's like, nah, she's a hooker. And I was like, what? And he's like, look on this street. And like, it just looks like normal people. He's like, 80% of these people are hookers. Because there's a famous street in Pomona, Holt Boulevard.
In Pomona, out here?
No. In like the Inland Empire.
It's 60,
like,
right?
Yeah. You take the 60 down. But there's a famous street where that's just where they go. And like, they come from LA.
But those don't exist anymore, do they?
That street still exists.
It does?
Pomona has not changed.
Damn.
little old grandma.
Pomona.
It's like the 90s and shit.
Yeah.
Like that's like 90s shit. Hookers on the street is pretty much to me almost like a retro thing now. Like you don't see that no more.
Come to Pomona, I'll book you.
I'll book you. I was told they got a page called Backpage, and that's what they do their business on. So it's all cyber now instead of actually in the streets.
Yeah.
I think it's called Backpage.
Well, because like if you're driving in the cop car and you're driving, and if someone immediately puts a cell phone up to their head, that's how you know who's a hooker. Because they're letting everybody else know where the cops are.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So that was like a little trick. He's like, if you're ever driving by someone, he's like, and even if it's just like a car they don't recognize, and they'll just put up their cell phone real fast because it's sketch, they're calling someone to let you know, like, hey, this guy's right here.
Have you actually been in a cop car and drove by?
Mm-hmm.
You have been?
Yeah.
Why were you in a cop car?
Ride along. It was a class. So I spent a whole day.
That is awfully white of you.
Yeah, it is. But I spent.
Black people don't do ride along.
I had to. So I spent this whole day. We broke up a street fight. It was like all these Mexican dudes street fighting. Well, me and the cop.
But you actually got out and stopped it too?
I watched.
Okay, you said, but we actually broke up a fight or something. Like you actually did something. He broke up a fight.
I was part of it, but
These old Mexican guys don't go on ride alongs either. It's just
Right. You're different, Paul.
That's me. I'm trying to be ambiguous. That's why, racially ambiguous. So we go out and there's all these drunk dudes just fighting. It's like noon and they're just shit-faced drunk, right? But this dude's maybe like 5 foot, like 200 something pounds. Or like, how tall are you? How much do you weigh? He's like, oh, I'm like 6'4", like 140. And you're like, yeah, nah, that's just. But afterwards, I had to go pick up my homie, and he lived right in front of where we were stopping everybody. So man, dude, like, there's just in Pomona, there's just everybody's messed up. It's still the 90s in Pomona. I'm telling you. That's
lit. Y'all still wearing platinum FUBU out there?
I still got them. That's how I blend in over there.
Wearing FUBU and what is it, cross colors and the Nietzsche jeans.
That's my style.
What else was it? Major Damage, used jeans, right?
There was a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like all that stuff was gonna come back. You know, everything come back like 2-3 times.
That shit it's around. I mean, people are wearing that shit. That shit is expensive now.
But ain't nobody wearing baggy though. That's the only thing.
Yeah,
That stuff was like 5 times. Like I think I had like a shirt that was like 3X.
Yeah.
That was like the coolest thing to do. Yeah, I can't do that now.
The crazy thing is, so those old ass 90 shirts that are like medium, those are worth a lot.
Bro, Spot on Melrose.
Yeah.
They had shirts. I saw a Prince shirt I wanted. It was like $200 for an old t-shirt, used.
Yeah.
Like $200.
Shit.
So do you like comedy more or you like fashion more?
Man, honestly, man, I'd rather be doing, I love fashion, but I'd rather be doing comedy if I had a choice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it has to, just because, I mean, I could probably support myself off comedy if I was single, but because I'm married and I just gotta, I need to make more money for,
Absolutely.
take care of the family,
Absolutely, man. Yeah, I actually I'm gonna have my own clothing line one day. I'm pretty excited about it.
You should, man.
Yeah,
You
I
should.
can't when it's time. I feel like when the time is right. I don't have time now to.
All it is, honestly, because I developed the brand. If you just like, if you give it away to certain people, take pictures and give it away to certain people that are like kids that are just on the block a lot, it just people should start buying it because people just see it around.
That's that Fashion Nova brand. Fashion Nova has the best marketing campaign ever. You get big booty girls that are pretty, give them free stuff, and then every girl wears Fashion Nova stuff. It's incredible. That's the best marketing strategy. I done looked at pictures like, oh, she thick. Open it up, Fashion Nova. I'm like, shoot, they got me. Rats.
Sneak it in.
Funny, man. Dope, man. So, do you feel like you've gotten more focused since being married with comedy?
I think so. I mean, I was married when I started.
Yeah.
She's the one she's one of the people that convinced me to do it. I was like, I don't know.
You got you a good woman, bro. The fact she tell you to go get on stage, that's really cool.
She's good. She's
all
really
my friends
cool.
are the exact opposite of that. The reciprocal one over what you just said.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. They like, I'm always gone, man. She be on me. I got a call when I get to the airport. I'm like, oh, like all that. But that's pretty dope, man.
She likes it.
She makes the difference.
No, she encourages it. I mean, I bug her. I wake up. If you ever think of like, only time I bother her, like at 3 a.m, I think of a new premise or something. I wake her ass up.
Of course.
Tell her the premise. She don't like that too much.
Yeah.
But other than that, she's cool. She encourages it. She thinks it's crazy because I think they're crazy. Her and my mother both are very supportive. They think that they're like, why are you opening this shop? My mother was like, why are you opening this store for? What are you gonna make? $200,000-$300,000 a year? If you did comedy, you'd make $100 million this year. Like, Mom, don't really.
She has no clue.
Yeah, and she just thinks that because in her head she's like, I think you're the best in the world. I think you're better than Bobby Lee. I was like, do you ever watch Bobby Lee? No, but I think you're better. Like, come on, Mom. Like, you're just being a mom right now. Like you understand. Like,
but I do feel like, especially yourself and Paul, man, y'all have a specific niche with your own people that'll like gives you a bigger voice than the average comic. You know what I'm saying? Because there's like a million white comics out here, but like if you're Asian and you're dope, it's almost like the Indian movement. Like I feel like so many like Indian, Aziz Ansari. What's my man name?
Kumail?
Hassan Minaj.
Oh, I was gonna say Kumail's Pakistani.
Yeah, but it's like a movement happening with that particular thing. So you support your people, and then you grab other nationalities along the way as your star rises. But especially you, man. I feel like if you did it like hard nosed, like no games, like next 5, man, you'll be that dude. You know what I'm saying?
We'll see, man. I put in my time. I love this shit. But you know what? Whatever happens, I feel like
it's not
privileged to do it.
It's not whatever happens. You got to see the goal. You got to tell yourself, man, look, this is what it is.
Okay.
It's not whatever happens. That's just my own mentality. Like,
I think that is right.
I have no plan B.
I think that is right.
This is it. My dream has to work. I'm not moving back home. This is it. That's why I was like, you have to see the end and what you want to do. because everything I said in my head I was gonna do, like, it's happening. You know what I'm saying? Like, I did a bunch of colleges, won college comic of the year, and then after that, I was like, yo, I was going on the road so much. I was like, I'm missing auditions. I need to get on TV because I feel like TV makes the difference. Once you get TV credits, then you don't have to explain yourself so much at comedy clubs. And now it's like I made more money doing TV stuff last year, and I saw it in my head. So even for you, man, like, yo, I'm about to be a full-time comedian by this time, and see it in your head. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll have somebody run the store, and I'm gonna be on the road doing this.
I'm looking for a job, so if you want to hook it up, I'll take over for you if you want.
Okay, for sure.
That's dope. And move them racks out the way and have a comedy club at your store.
Oh, yeah, we're gonna do open mic.
We thought about that too, but you know, it would be kind of crazy. Why not? But there's no place to do it. There's no space. There's no space.
There's always space.
Yeah.
For comedy, absolutely.
There's no chairs.
You rent chairs.
Okay. There's nowhere to put them in the back. We'll rent chairs every week. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Sure, why not? All you need is what? Leaving the space right here. Like, all you need is what? 20 chairs?
Yeah, just like 20 chairs.
20 chairs, a little champagne?
Craigslist.
Done.
20 chairs.
We found them for cheap.
Yeah, you can get it done, man. Hey, it's always ways. It's always a way. That's what I love about comedy. That's why I said being broke is the recipe for greatness, man. When you broke, you'll figure out a way to make some stuff happen. Are you frustrated enough? You'll always make some stuff happen, man.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, just, I don't know, man. I like you talk about like Dante, like the long goal. I'm like sort of short term because it's like.
What you mean?
I set a lot of short term goals for myself, you know?
Which you
like,
should.
Like I said, well, even my idea of short term is like within the year. So like within 2018, what I want to do is, so I've already done Irvine Improv. I want to do Bray Improv, Ontario Improv. So it's like 2 more improvs, get right this amount of time, like have a solid whatever 20, go like do this. Like, I don't know. That's kind of like my focus in terms of trying to push the ball forward because I'm only 2 years into it, so I'm a baby.
Yeah, and I feel like you should be at that phase. You just having fun and exploring, like taking chances, saying all that reckless stuff that'll get the crowd quiet on you, like Dante, and just have fun right now, man.
Yeah,
like because again, I've watched this documentary by Seinfeld, and 2 things he said that stood out. He was like, "Don't do it for the money, just have fun." You know what I'm saying? The second part is amateurs work on the things they're good at, and professionals work on the things they're not good at. You know what I'm saying? And for me, I always try to push myself and do stuff I wouldn't normally do. Like this year, I love to write. If you ever see me perform, I got structured all my stuff. I love writing. I'm a real anal about my pen or whatever. But now it's like I'm going on stage and just having fun. I would go on stage with no set in mind and just talk and try to get to my punchline. Yeah. And see what happens. And like
that's the point. That's the point I want to get to.
Like I think what's dope is like the space between when I get on stage and not knowing what I'm saying and the moment before I get to that joke is like brilliant to me. Because I've seen a lot of comics just go on stage and like they get straight to their material. But for me, I try to have fun and navigate, and just that space of free falling to me makes me feel alive. It makes me enjoy my jokes. Because sometimes, you know, you get stuck and you get tired of doing your same jokes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then that moment of free falling for me, it's like a really dope moment to push myself, trust myself, and see if I say I'm dope, how dope I really am by believing in myself enough to not have a set and just go on stage and see what happens.
Yeah.
That's sometimes the most funnest thing in the world.
It is.
When you just,
it's hard to explain, but it's really dope.
Yeah, when you just, I don't know, I've spent literally like a 20, 30-minute set just making fun of the comedians.
Yeah.
Or making fun of one dude that's acting weird and all this. That's like the funnest thing in the world. I honestly, like, yeah, those are fun. But I don't know, a part of me sometimes think I should be working on my shit. That's like,
you should
work.
You should.
But then I'm having so much fun fucking around with the people. You know what I mean? Like, it is fun just to do all crowd work.
And so many people are scared of it too, you know? Like so many people, at least like on my level where it's like, you know, kind of a couple of years into it, just figuring stuff out. A lot of people get, and I got flack for like doing crowd work at like a mic or something. If you're working on like, let's say you want to intro a bit, right? But you're going to intro that bit using crowd work. And so you just kind of like, yeah, exactly. I got that face. I got that face too. Where they were like, oh, really? But those same people, don't have that muscle. You know, like these are people that aren't like, you know, established already. I'm not trying to, you know, run the room and, oh, look at this guy over here at a mic.
I'm not going to lie. Every time I've seen that happen, they've made fun of that person.
Yeah. No. It's hard. But you also got to like work out that much. Cause like, so my background is more like podcasting, radio. You know, I started the radio station at my college. Like that kind of like on the cuff stuff is stuff that I love, you know, like I love kind of, and having a mentor that was like so like, you know, big on the crowd work and stuff. It's like if you could find a way to do it the right way, it'll like already elevate you past like your peers. Kind of like you stand out. You definitely stand out.
And I believe the hardest part of comedy is balance, man. Like in general, in order to be a great comedian, you got to have balance in every area of your life to be good at it. Like you can't be all comedy. You can't be all improv. You can't be all writing. You got to learn all these different nuances. That's why I was like Jerry Seinfeld saying professionals work on their blind spots. Like you got to work on your blind spots to be really good at comedy. So even taking those chances. So even when I ask questions on stage now, I try not to ask a lot of questions on stage unless I'm specifically going to a place. Like I'll ask people like, yo, where my single people at? And then people like, woo, and I'm like loud and lonely. And I'm going into my single set. I won't be like really waiting on them to answer or like have 5 questions instead of getting to the punchline, you know? So you gotta, you gotta have balance in what you do. And like, it's good to push those envelopes. Again, like I said, you're at a place, you should be trying the most reckless, makes no sense. Why am I even saying this stuff right now? Until you figure it out. And all you need is 10 minutes right now. Like under 2 years, work on that hot 10 minutes.
I think 10 minutes is good. I think 5 minutes a year until you get to like year 5.
Yeah.
And then you got to really start adding on. I think by 8, you should have an hour. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, something like, there's no formula, but
There's
I'm
no
saying
formula,
like locally, you're not getting no more than 7 minutes. So you need to work on that 5 to 7 minute set to get you exposure, to get a showcase, to do NBC, Stand Up for Diversity or whatever. Like work on that 5 to 7 minutes. And then as you work on that 5 to 7 minutes, as the more you keep doing it, you're going to build around. That 7 going to turn to 10, that 10 going to turn to 15, 15 going to turn to 20. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but just keeping on that, working on that tight 5 to where when somebody, because I always say, have that money set in your pocket. You got to have a money set. Like I got a money set where I'm like, I know how to stand up a crowd. Like if you let me, like you let me, and I know people in the room, important people in the room, I got a set where I'm like, okay, it's personal, it's about me, and it's going to make you cry. And if you don't respond to what I'm saying, then
You're a hater.
You're a hater or you're broken on the inside. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But comedians don't work on their money set. They just keep working on new stuff their whole entire career, and they're not honing anything. Like again, and once you get that hot 5 to 7 where you know it's tight, it's that Conan set, then you can start working on new stuff. But you still got this in your pocket. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it makes sense.
I just found out too. I was talking to somebody too that does produce comedy shows. I said, because I've never shot in a comedy special. I shot a comedy special. It was for me, but I never put it on anything. And Dante, he's going to yawn while I'm talking about my dreams, man. That was a long yawn too. He tasted it. He was like, I just found out the comedians that perform 1 hour specials, they go on tour and do the same special live.
Yeah, I would think that's how you do it.
No, I was thinking like once you're doing that special, you work on your new one after that.
I don't know. I guess you got to go on tour and at least milk that, right? You should milk.
I thought that once you produce this, I thought it's all new till you get it on TV and then you work on a new special.
No, I've noticed that people, like, I've had people keep coming back to see me over and over and over again. Like, one guy's like, I've come to every show you've been on every improv show you've been on since March. Yeah. And I'm like, but I say the same jokes a lot. Like, he was like, bro, it's cool. Yeah. And then if I don't do it, they complain. Like, you've heard the joke, like, you already know what happened. Like, to me, like, songs appreciate, jokes depreciate. You know what I mean? Once you know the ending or the punchline to a joke.
You said songs?
Like, yeah, songs appreciate. Like, songs that even after, like, the more you hear a song, it gets even better sometimes. Yeah. The joke, the more you hear, it's like, we know what happens. So, I don't know. Unless it's an act out, maybe.
What do you do about that?
There's nothing I could do. Yeah. I mean, I do one thing Bill Burr said sometimes, like, he says, like, add a tag. It doesn't matter if it works, but it's gonna keep it from staying like it's like repetition, like it's gonna sound fresh. Yeah. The more I forgot how he said it, but he said something like that where if you add a tag, even it doesn't matter if it works, just kind of work off it, and then you thinking about the tag get you excited enough where it's not gonna sound like it's rehearsed. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't know, just try to find little tricks, and I always try to do new shit. Sometimes the shit bombs. Yeah. And I just tried new shit. And I'm like, hey, fuck it. They keep coming back and seeing me. I got to try something new. Like, you know, I can't just, I don't know. Yeah. And then people have even complained, like, why'd you do that? Like, I don't know.
Why'd you do what?
Why'd you, like, I remember I did like this 5 minutes and just didn't do very well, or like people that come to see me like were complaining about, like, why did you do that? Why did you talk about Star Wars? I don't think you know what you're talking about. And I was like,
and you go with the facts. I hate people like that.
I'm making jokes. It's a joke. I saw them. Yeah. You know, it's just a joke.
And one thing I try to do is I always try to live in the moment to where you'll never see me do the joke the exact same way ever. Because every time I do it, it'll come out different. And I keep writing. And sometimes I live in the moment because it's something we would say in conversation that you would probably never say on stage just because we're conditioned to like become a different person on stage. But for me, I would say what I would say off stage on stage now because I don't care anymore. I have fun and I keep talking. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like how I would say it off stage, I would say it on stage and not care. And if I felt more, like I have this long joke about how women lie to men to protect our ego. Because men, we know men lie to women all the time, but like women lie to us all the time. And I'm like, yo, I say, women, every dude like in here right now, you think you're the best your girl's ever had. And you be like, yeah, you're on the best you ever had. She be like, today? And I'm like, ladies, tell the truth. Like, you know the guy I'm talking about right now. The guy that is the best you've ever had, he's in your head. You can see his penis in your head as I'm saying this joke. And right now, you're like, man, if I stop laughing right now, he's going to punch me in the throat. But I can't stop laughing. So let me just chuckle on the inside because he's very insecure. So, Ron, I need you to go on with your set so I can move on with my life because right now it's uncomfortable because it's going to be an awkward ride home. And I don't want to be an awkward ride home with this guy because he has a short penis and short patience and I don't want to do it. And I'm like, I just go on for like a long, like 7-minute rant because I'm like analyzing what's happening in the moment, what's in their head, what's in his head. And it's all one long, and I wrote it like that. I just wrote it and I just kept talking. And it was like, when I stopped talking, people like start screaming like, yo, that is so funny and so freaking true. And I would normally stop the joke at, today and I would leave it at that. But I just stayed in the joke and it became this whole other thing. Like I was psychologically like manipulating everybody in the room and talking about the truth. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So for me, I also like, I want people to have conversations about stuff when they go home. On that ride home, like, yo, that comedian, he was funny, but he was talking some real stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I personally pride myself on doing that stuff, but that's me living my truth and saying what I would normally say at home or on the podcast versus what I would do on stage. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because sometimes we always, comedians, for some reason, we compartmentalize our truth to, on stage, I got to make it sound funny versus just saying your truth.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Try to get them to, I did the set at a barbershop in Ontario, California, which is known as like a little bit, little ghetto. I asked I had a lot of, so I'm a whitewash Mexican. That's kind of like my shtick. I always do like kind of like the whitewash Mexican stuff. That's why I go so well with Gene Pompa because like he kind of like that same energy, So I remember walking up and I was just like, hey, how's the room looking there? And he was just like, a lot of face tattoos, a lot of face tattoos in that spot. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to start exploring that kind of like Mexican side of me. Yeah. Because there's that niche, I grew up with George Lopez and all, the Latin kings of comedy and all this stuff. I was like, there's that niche, but I'm focusing too much on just the joke. I'm not really talking about my childhood, talking about that. So I started talking about how my grandma taught me sex ed, and how.
In real life?
In real life, yeah. So,
she used like fruit or something.
Well, I bumped it up. I said that she was into like, it's called brujeria shit, which is like it's like witchcraft.
What?
So I was like, so she didn't really teach me.
How you spring that on a crowd of people?
Well, they were all cholos, so they all.
Is that normal? I don't know if is that normal.
They knew what I was talking about, yeah. So because I was like, she was into like witchcraft and stuff, and a lot of like those like hipstery like Mexican chicks are all into like that kind of like old school Latin like witchcraft stuff. So I just basically say, she told me. Don't use condoms, use chorizo casings and like kind of that stuff. So it was weird because it's like I got to cement the truth, but then make it so absurd that they were just like, but I like hit with that crowd. So like if I'm doing like if there's like a young like Latin audience, like at the Haha that one night, that whole table was younger Mexican kids. So I was like, I'm in, that's easy. Which that leads me to something I want to ask you guys. Do you guys, I don't know about at this point, but do you guys see a certain type of audience that you're not going to do well with? Like a certain little clique?
No.
Or something?
I would say no, but I know my niche is not old conservative white people.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't necessarily do well with them. Not unless there's other minorities in the room. If it's just all old white conservative people, evangelicals, I don't do well.
Irvine Improv.
I just get like honestly safe. When I get in front of those audiences, I have the same problem, the same audience. Old white people, sometimes it could be weird. But so I just really go on the reliable, very, stereotypical jokes that just happen to work. That I know they're going to work because I don't want to fuck around and just play it because I've been through it. You've been doing comedy enough times. You know what that audience usually brings. You know what it is usually. You already know, so you got to adjust accordingly. If you want to make them laugh, or you could really work on your shit. Say, hey, if it works now, this works anyway. So it's up to you. And by the way, I figured out why so many Mexicans have so many kids now because y'all use chorizo
casings instead of condoms.
How you say it?
Chorizo casings. It's just very greasy and smelly. So I don't the friction
instead of condoms. Okay, that's why you guys. have like 8 kids per household.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But I realized I didn't do well in those crowds because the cultural gap is so wide, man. Like, I did an all-white church in Irvine. Was it Irvine?
Whoa.
It was a church show at the Irvine Improv, but it's all like church people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I feel like it's church people that didn't have black friends.
Yeah.
So I'm doing my black church experience with these people, and they had no reference point, and they were just staring at me. And I'm like, I do a joke anywhere else, it would kill. Like even with minorities, but it was no minorities. It's just all old white people. And I'm like, this is not my crowd.
Yeah.
And then I did another crowd with the same demographic. You could tell they were 1%ers, beach people. And I was talking about like breakups and you know how hard dating is. And I guess in that culture, they don't have that kind of issue.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They don't, it's not a thing, you know? So I guess when you go to college, you get married and you stay married to the love of your life for the rest of your life when you have money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it was just a weird experience. Like, yo, none of y'all had a heartbreak before? Did I miss something? But
That was that gig that taught me like, oh, not all audiences are like, you know, you gotta really.
I don't think that's my niche. I could do it if there's other minorities in the room, but if it's just all that, I'm like, I'm good.
Yeah, absolutely. Mine is like hardcore, like feminist, like hipster girls. So I used to do a lot of shows like in Silver Lake.
Oh, hilarious.
And just at the front table, would always be the front table would be like a younger, like maybe lesbian couple, like just right there, just staring at me through all my stuff. And I was just, it would make me conscious. I was like, yeah, that joke's a bit misogynistic. I was like, but we'll see. So like you said, you have to like work on your weaknesses. Like that's my weakness. You know, there's certain audiences that I'm like, that's my weakness. I gotta
funny.
be better.
I remember one time I did an all black lesbian room and I was doing my relationship stuff and they was like, yeah, man, men do be like that. And I was like, what? But I think they all kind of converted after, if that's a thing, they got converted after they got their feelings hurt and then became lesbian, I think, because all of them had a reference point for me talking about dating stuff and how people are. And it was just such a weird thing. And I was like, I thought you were born that way. And it was weird, but most of them were like, the crowd I performed for was like they became lesbian later on in life. Which was so weird. And I didn't know what to do. I didn't figure it out until halfway through my set. I was like, wait, there's a lot of where are you guys at? But everything I did about my relationship stuff, they like resonated with. And it was like, yeah, man, guys are trash or guys. And I'm like, whoa, that's so crazy.
There's so many lesbians in Pomona that have kids. That you're just like, see, at one time. I
know a lot. I feel like I don't know, because naturally, women is just more loyal by nature. You know, for some reason, guys are just have that itch more than women. We're just, I don't know. We just, this is how we are. It is what it is. Like you can't even deny it. You know, like I've seen it a million times growing up. You see a girl. She's maybe a good-looking girl in school. She's a nice girl. She just wants to be loved. Yeah. She just wants to, you know, and then boyfriend cheat on her. She gets cold and she becomes a gold digger. You know what I mean? It's just because she's been hurt to the point where, you know what? Why should I do this? So let me run my game now. You know? I've seen that a million times. I would think we all have. Especially, you know, how we grew up. You know, we all didn't grow up in Beverly Hills, so you know what I mean. We've all seen that kind of. Like, you know what I mean. I'm sure that happens there too. You know, like
of course.
But that's where everyone has money. So you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, good, man. We're coming up. If you're listening right now, you listen to the Comedy Pop-Up Podcast. I'm your host, Ron G. In the studio today, we got my man, Dante Chang, and Paul Antonio. And we're talking about comedy, the journey, the ups and downs of this journey of comedy and trying to figure that thing out, man. And it's actually been a really good show, man. It's been a great show. Dante, I'm glad you made time for us to come in the show.
Thank you for having me.
And we appreciate that jacket you got on. It's pretty freaking awesome. And
Comedy Pop-Up.
I want it.
Hopefully I can get one of those. That jacket is freaking fresh, man. And that's a Yes t-shirt too, man. You got the Yays on too. Let me think so. This dude out here living, man. He got on all his favorite clothes. So listen, man. One cool thing we do before we wrap the show is we ask a series of questions.
Okay.
Because we don't small talk here, and we want to ask you. And there's no right or wrong answer, and you can answer however you see fit.
Okay.
All right.
Let's go.
So let me pull up my questions. Pop up.
No, I feel like my denim jackets are too plain that I wear on stage.
Nah.
Yeah?
I'm that dude that wears denim jackets. I want it.
It's too much.
I'm gonna rip off one sleeve. We'll trade sleeves.
Stupid. Okay. So, all right, here we go. All right. I should know him by now. So, first question. If you can do coffee with one person dead or alive, who would it be and why?
Oh, probably Tupac.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Why Tupac?
I don't know. Just because he seems so. I don't know. He just seemed ahead of his time. He didn't seem like you. I think he died at what, age 24?
Yeah.
He seemed like he had the wisdom of like a 40-year-old.
Man, all the stuff he's done at only age 24.
Yeah.
You're like, man, I need to get my life together, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, except for the getting shot part. But other than that, yeah, he
Getting shot gives you wisdom.
Yeah, you just wonder. Sometimes what I was always curious about with him. Some people, I'm not saying he wasn't intelligent. Some people know how to just mask where they seem like they know a lot more and they're more intelligent than they are. So that makes me curious. If I sat down with you and talked about, certain subjects, would you still be as, I don't know. It just makes me curious. Was he, because it's almost, I've never seen a 24-year-old that wise. You know what I mean? Like maybe, educated, sure. You know what I mean? But wise as far as in how he knew like how to be, he was very in touch with his human emotions, everything. Like he was very mature.
But it was two things though. He was a descendant of a Black Panther, which makes you it's a level of consciousness that growing up in that household will take you to that the average person doesn't get.
Yeah.
Then mom on drugs.
Yeah.
Which is another thing too, where it makes you grow up a little faster.
Yeah. Sure.
And being an entertainer and
Also,
an artist.
yeah,
so it makes you sensitive. So it makes you, so I'm saying like
everything.
He was called to be who he was based on his environment. Sometimes you're called for that.
I mean, Biggie was like that too. They were both like, wow, you guys are really smart 24-year-olds,
Yeah.
Jay-Z too. Jay-Z was a little older when he got on. He was like 27, I think, when his first album dropped. But him too, he was pretty wise. I think Biggie and Jay-Z, I think their moms were teachers or something, right?
Yeah.
So that
but I have friends like that. I have friends that their parents are teachers and they're like super smart. I'm like, you're my age, but you're like freaking brilliant.
Yeah, I know someone like that too. They're really intelligent for some reason.
Yeah, but
that
I
really
think
helps.
Tupac was freaking special, man.
Yeah.
Next question. What smell or sound reminds you of home?
I think whenever I like when I smell fire burning, and that, and then also the smell of like weed.
Remind you of home?
Yeah, for those two, fire in the winter, that fireplace smell, and winter for some reason that, and weed. I don't know why. Like cheap weed though, not like good weed. So if someone's smoking some bullshit, you know what I mean? Like then,
I don't even know the difference in smell. So yeah,
but then cheap weed for some reason like reminds me of my childhood. I know that's weird. But
that's so funny. Yeah, I'm like that when I smell my dad cook barbecue. Like something about when you go through the hood, and you smell some barbecue. Like, all right, my dad about to throw down tonight. It's gonna be good, man. Okay. What's one thing you learned about you from your last relationship? Not your person, you.
That I'm just crazy, and I just need to just control myself, control I don't I feel like I get more I keep shit pent up. I don't really like express when I'm upset.
So you're like emotionally constipated, is what you're saying?
Yeah, and then I just let it build up. Then one time I just explode.
Yeah.
And when I overreact over something stupid, then I look crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got that. I'm trying to control that.
Hilarious.
Got a little better at that.
You plan on fixing it, or you just
no? Absolutely. I think I've gotten better at it. I still need work. I think we all need work. We got to continue to work on ourselves.
Yeah. Do you ever have a because I know some like really dope people, and like they get offended but don't tell you until later on, and be like years later, like you hurt my feelings, right? I'm like, when were you gonna tell me that? Like you've been sitting on that for 3 years, and I've been living my good life, didn't even know. For myself too, I've learned to like tell people how I feel when it happens.
Yeah.
Which is sometimes hard to do because you have to worry about the environment. I don't want to catch them while they at work. But like now, if somebody pissed me off, I kind of tell them like, "Yo, that was a dick move. Like that was freaking weird. Why'd you do that?" And they be like, "Huh?" And I was like, "Yo, that was raggedy. Why would you do that?" And then they're like, "Oh, I didn't know."
It's weird. As I get older, I do that sometimes. I'm not gonna lie, but sometimes I've gotten to a point where I just stop talking to you. You know what I mean? It depends on what it is. Like if you step on my shoe, I'm not gonna not talk to you because of that. But if like say something weird, like
even the Yeezys you got on,
you stole my phone. Yeah, just go. I'm like, oh man, Ron, that sucks. Let me go get this the scuff off or the scuff down, whatever. It's not a big deal to me. But like if you do something shady, like steal something, you know what I mean? Anything where it's like, come on. I just have gone to a point where I just stopped talking to you.
Yeah,
we're just done. I just
that's
don't.
maturity too, though.
I just don't. I think we don't have time for that. And you get to a certain point, you get to a certain age, like you don't got time for that. I don't got time to even be mad at you. Like you know what I mean? Let me just get away from you and let me go do my thing.
Yeah. What about you, Paul? Look quiet over there.
I know.
What's the one thing you learned from your last relationship?
My last relationship that, you know what, honestly, and this is going to be weird, that I'm not ready. That I'm not ready for all the seriousness yet. So I just graduated college this past summer, you know, so I'm so new in my path of everything that I'm trying to do that it was hard to put my energy into that and my energy into the relationship. But I was very transparent, you know, I mean, I was a communication major, so I got to be good at talking. So I told her, and I was just like, you know what? You know, I got to let me do me. And then, you know, when the timing's right, I mean, if the timing's wrong, it doesn't matter if it's perfect, you know, it's going to be messed up. I would say, so as the timing needs to be right and you got to be ready.
That is so cool. And I think you shouldn't be in that serious right now. You're still trying to figure that thing out.
Yeah, I'm young. I'm not trying to, I had one of my exes was asking for a promise ring when I was like 22. And I was like, I can't give you that. And it was one of those things that I had been so about her the entire relationship. But when it got to that point, I was like, you know what, I'm going to make this decision for me. I was like, I can't do that right now. Not in good conscience, you know?
Dope, man. All right. And last but not least, and Paul, feel free to answer this as well. What is some advice you would give a young comedian knowing what you know today?
Oh, man. Go up as often as possible. Don't worry about the laughs because everyone's like, hey, new comedians are like, they were laughing this last week, maybe not today. I'm like, don't worry about that. You got to just get comfortable up there. You know what I mean? Just find yourself. And really, and I think one thing I actually told a comedian, they said it really helped them was you have to trust yourself. You have to believe in what you're doing. You have to tell yourself before you get on stage, I'm the baddest motherfucker in this world. I'm the funniest motherfucker. Even if it's not true, just believe that. You believing that for your 15-minute set is going to make the world a difference because you believe it. You know what I mean? There's something about that changes people. Once you believe, you truly believe that you're funny or you're confident in what you're doing, whatever, it changes your act. It changes everything.
Yeah.
You could use the same jokes. You know, that's not, it's nothing. And keep writing. That's it. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, I got one
advice too.
that I learned, although I'm not really in a position to be like, you know, if you mimic me, you'll be successful. I'm like, you know.
What advice would you give a comic under 2 years?
I would say, and this is important, something that I learned was you got to earn your hang in terms of like, if you come in and you're just like trying to be like that cocky guy and be like, I already wrote 4 hours. I got 4 hours, but you're going to lose everybody's respect right away. Like even when I get to like hang out with you guys at like Comedy Pop-Up, I try to make it like known that like I'm new in this. Like I'm not trying to present myself to be like your guys as equals. You know, I'm like the little baby in the scene. Yeah. But I mean, dude, I got so much when you know, I've had headliners kind of say like early on where they're like, yeah, he's like, you just think like you're like me already, even though you haven't put in the work. Like you got to put in the work. Yeah. To earn that respect.
I think under 10 years is still a baby in comedy.
There's no shortcuts to the grind. There's no shortcut. Grind has no shortcuts whatsoever.
Yeah, and comedy's self-paced, self-taught too. So it's real hard to cut the line if you ain't been doing the work. And people can tell. I can tell by the way a comedian grabs the microphone out the stand how long he been doing comedy.
That's hilarious.
I'm for real. You see a comedian spend 2 minutes trying to unwrap that cord, you're like, you're new.
I still do that.
Yeah. If you see me grab the mic, like 2 seconds, bam, right here.
That's funny.
Yeah,
that's true.
So you would have seen me, but you didn't know me. You'd be like, 2 weeks. I don't know why. Like, you know, sometimes it's like after you take it off, you're doing your set, and it's like I'll just stop and I'll be like, I don't know why. I don't know why. It just bugs me.
I don't care. I just grabbed that thing out. Let's get to work. Let's log in.
I was blessed to be an audio engineer. I'm like, I know exactly the construction of this. Although there are some mic stands out there that'll give you problems and they'll make you look like an amateur.
I hate when I do comedy shows and they use the guitar microphone.
Ah, yeah.
It's about the one that bends in the middle. And I'm like, why are you giving me this? And they was like, well, this is the mic we have. Like, man, if you don't give me that other microphone stand, I hate the guitar one. I'm like, I'm not doing an acoustic set.
I feel like, man, would y'all steal this from church? I just went to church just broke in.
So listen, man, if y'all tuning in, this is the Comedy Pop-Up Podcast. Today we had a great show, man. My man Dante Chang and my man Paul Antonio. I'm your host, Ron G. Dante, where can they find you on social media, sir?
At Dante Chang, DanteChang. Also got my own podcast right here on Comedy Pop-Up called The Completely Unprofessional Podcast. And that's about it.
And what is that about?
Pretty much random, whatever we're feeling at the time, comedy, entertainment, whatever pretty much comes on, whatever hot topics there are, whatever,
That sounds very unprofessional.
Yeah, it is. It's exactly that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's dope.
It only took you 5 episodes to say the title right.
Yeah, it did.
On that one.
I was like I don't know. I just kept forgetting the title.
You're so reckless, which is so dope, man. I think that's what makes you special, man. The fact you don't care and you like whatever you feel, you say it. That's a unique gift everybody don't have. Like me, I have a filter. And I hate that I have this filter sometimes because I feel like, man, my career would probably be further along if I didn't have this filter, but I know I'm the clean comedian. But
I think that makes you special.
I'm very no, it's my thing, but I'm saying sometimes I get jealous because I know certain comics that don't care about anything and just say what they want to say. And I'm like, yo, that's so brave of you to do that. You know what I'm saying? But this is my niche. I'll mess up my fan base.
Sometimes I regret it though. I'm like, you should have said that. Yeah, I don't know. I've said it like, you went a little. You shouldn't have done that.
That's what cool people do. They say what they feel and worry about the ramifications later.
That's true.
People that change the world, like freaking Richard Pryor, he didn't edit himself. He just said it.
Yeah,
that's true.
He said it. That's what made him dope.
That's true.
Absolutely. What about you?
You could find me at the Paul Antonio on all social media, and also listen to my show on the podcast network, The Next Wave of Paul Antonio. We do basically up and coming comics, pretty much people who are, the hustlers in the game that one day they will be household names, but right now they're not quite at that level yet. Yeah. So we bring them in, the Taylor Tomlinson.
That's 90% of all comedians.
Yeah, pretty much. I
maybe 98.
It's only 7 household names.
I do not have a
2 if you're black.
I do not have a shortage of guests. That is pretty much.
It's so dope, man. So point. Congrats, man. And also, I go by the name of Comedian Ron G. Please follow me, Comedian Ron G, on everything. Comedian RONG. And if you're ever in LA, please feel free to stop by the Laugh Factory, the Chocolate Sundays comedy show. We do it every single Sunday at 7 o'clock and 9:30 p.m. Also, we also have a cool show that we do called the Comedy Pop-Up, which is called, what's the handle for that?
If you want to find out more information on the live stand-up shows for Comedy Pop-Up, it's comedypopup.la.com, or on social media, it's at Comedy Pop-Up.
Okay. And did I miss something about the CPU?
Oh, the podcast. So we also have our podcast network, which Dante, you are a part of. It's at CPU Podcast if you want to check out all the podcasts on the network.
There you go. That's awesome. Yeah. Thank you, Paul.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Ron.
Cool. And so with that being said, man, thank you again for another awesome episode of the Comedy Pop-Up Podcast, where we don't small talk everything from comedy, entertainment, and being very unprofessional whenever we feel like it. And it's been a great show. Yeah.